Okay, we're back. We're still using trig functions or trig ratios. And remember, it's sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent equals opposite over adjacent. So katoa. In this exercise, it's entitled Solving Right Triangles. We're not really solving right triangles because that means you discover all three side measures and all three angle measures. It's partially solving right triangles is what we're doing. They want us just to find the one missing side measure and round it to the nearest tenth. So let's examine what they're giving us to work with. Number one, we've got a side called x and a side that measures 6. And then we have an angle that's 72 degrees and the right angle is clearly marked. We're going to begin with this just like we would the problems that we just finished with inverse trig ratios. First, we identify the angle that we're going to use. Here it is right here. Now we're going to name the sides of the triangle based on this angle. Okay, right across from it, this is going to be the opposite side. Across from the 90-degree angle, this is the hypotenuse, which makes this one the adjacent. After we've identified the names of each side of the triangle, now we can see which sides we have information for and determine which trig ratio to use. We have the adjacent side and we have the hypotenuse. Adjacent and hypotenuse means cosine. Cosine. All right, so we're going to start by writing the cosine of 72. Okay, because this is a 72 degree angle, the cosine of 72 equals. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so 6 over x. I'm going to change this in just one way so it will become clearer to you what it is that we're going to do. I'm going to put a 1 underneath this. Now we have two fractions separated by an equal sign. You've been doing this for years now. Whenever you have two fractions separated by an equal sign, you cross multiply. And it looks like this. Right? Cosine of 72 times x is x cosine 72. That's just the only way that you can write that. 1 times 6 is 6. I'm trying to solve for x. That means this cosine of 72, which is all one number, it needs to get moved to the other side. It's being multiplied, so we need to divide by it. So divide this side by cosine 72. Divide this side by cosine 72. It cancels out right here, and x equals. Now you just type this in your calculator. Remember to be on degrees, and you will have your answer. So 6 divided by cosine 72, 19.4. Remember the instructions said round to the nearest tenth. There's the tenth. Take a look at the number that comes before it. It's less than 5, so we just write it like this. 19.4. Okay. And let's try another one. Number 3. Okay, here's my angle. So that makes this side the opposite. Here's the hypotenuse, and here's the adjacent. So opposite adjacent means tangent. So the tangent of 24 equals opposite over adjacent. Put a 1 under that, cross multiply. 12 tangent 24 equals 1 times x is x. When the x is on top, it makes this a simpler problem to solve. Here the x was on bottom, and we ended up having to do a division problem. When the x is on top, after you cross multiply, it looks like this. So now all you have to do is type this in your calculator, and boom, you have your answer. So x equals 12 tangent 24 5.3. See that 4 isn't at least 5, so it's just 5.3. Okay, one more. How about the back? More of the same. Look at number 13. Here's the angle. That makes this the opposite. And here's the 90-degree angle. So here's the hypotenuse and adjacent. Okay. I have information for opposite and hypotenuse. That's sine. Sine of 33 equals opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, cross multiply. 29 sine 33 equals x. So x equals, now just type this side in the calculator, 29 sine 33. Here's the 10th spot, but look, right before it is a 9. That means that this gets bumped up by 1, rounded up to 15.8. And there we go.